Just a little bit of difficulty, but we're back. Thank you for bearing with us and having patience. Go ahead and at this 16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow, thy conception. In sorrow shalt thou bring forth children, and shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Now this one is a great one. I have heard on both sides of this debate from many men and from many women about what this verse here is actually saying, but we will get into it. Of course, woman defined as the word wife. Woman, he appointed, he certified, he declared. He also made a promise that he would greatly multiply. And that word greatly is sharply, absolutely, and exceedingly multiply, increase, to be much, or to make plenteous. So this was not an easy thing that he was saying to the woman. And the second word of sorrow, or the first word there of sorrow is pain, worrisomeness in labor, and in thy conception, the childbirth, in her pregnancy, is going to be troublesome. It's going to be worrisome. And the second word, that second sorrow, is toil, hardship, grievously. And so, he's telling her, you're not going to have an easy time at all in childbirth. This is a promise from me. This is because of the things that you have done. I will give you this for a reminder for all times. Bringing forth to bear, beget, or deliver children. And this particular word for children means a son or a grandson. And extended means a nation. Every extension of the family name. That's what this children is referring to. Basically a son. And when it says that your desire, your longing, your craving, your reach for control. And that was a thing that I had not previously had it read it before in that particular phrase. A reach for control. Your desire, your longing, your craving, your reach for control will be to your husband, to your, and this is one for the men. See, when it's describing her husband, her house band, it is her. This word here is described as her individual servant, and that's something that this world of male dominance doesn't. Not a servant. That's what you are. And the second term for this word husband was worthy steward. Worthy steward being the operative word in this one here. You are a servant. You are also a steward of the home. You are the head of the household, but you are the consent. You are the consent of the household. You are the one who gives that last word. You are the one who makes sure that you have studied all points of the avenue. You understand what is being said to you. You understand what must be done. Protection, your provision, priesthood of the household. You understand what you considered all these things, and you are the last word. And last we said rule over you, have or exercise dominion, reign, and then another very important word, to be governor. So that any governor of a state not neglect half of his citizens just to meet the need. He is meeting the needs of everyone. He's considering everyone there. So when some of the men who have said in past times that the Lord has given me rule over my household, I can do what I want to do, that's not exactly so. What he is telling you that the husband is that individual servant, that worthy steward, the champion of the home, the head of the household, and the consent, and in the rule, the governor. So understand, being a governor, that champion, that worthy steward of the home. This is this about the man to the woman. He was letting her know, man, I have given you last week. Come up. You might want him or for him. He has the, and that's what I have charged him with. But he's going to be the guy to run and do whatever he wants to do. And a reading of is to church. Since you desire to connect your husband or to him, but and he will have the that, and it nobody's aware. It is saying that the woman is weak. It's not the woman that is not case here. It's whatever that he can rule without consequence. Not the case here. He is giving them specific version. And he said, because thou hast hearkened to the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree which commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Again, Adam, defined as this individual, the first being. And again, as the Lord said unto him, he declared, he certified, he appointed, and promised. He made a promise. And then say twice he made this same promise to the woman. He's making another promise to the man that these things you have to look forward to. Not because I hate you, because I love you, and there's consequences to the things that you have done. Not because I want to stomp you into the ground. That is not what he's saying here. There are consequences, and I warned you ahead of time. I warned you because I love you. And now I have to discipline you because I love you. Just like any parent would do. This is what the Lord is doing. And then the word hearken. He listened, he considered, he regarded, he heard intelligently, understood and obeyed the voice. And it's kind of shocking here, the explanation or definition for voice here. It is sound, which we do know, but the second word was crackling. And crackling is definitely a sign of imperfection. And that's what the Lord was saying. This was an imperfect voice that you listened to instead of listening to me. And that voice was making an imperfect proclamation. And then a wife, and in this particular word, it says you listen to the voice of your wife. It also says your woman, which we know that wife, what it means, your woman. But it also means that which I have married you to. So they weren't just out there doing whatever they thought they wanted to do. The Lord had married them. The Lord had put the two of them together. And whether or not anyone realizes it or not, the vow that Adam made, we don't hear the vow of Eve, but Adam made a vow. He says, this is now bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. He's saying we are one. And from here on out, that's what we're going to be. That's a vow. Whether anyone else wants to admit to that or not, that's a wedding vow. And he vowed her to take care of, which is some or become influenced by the tree, which is the vine or the branch, and commanded. The Lord had laid do not to do, and the word curse. I tried to find exactly where this curse was going, and so it kind of funneled me down to in the definition of this. This curse means that the world was reviled, defiled, impaired, and damaged, vandalized, because for thy sake, that for thy sake, it was because of you, on account of you, that the earth, the world, the dirt, ground was reviled, damaged, and vandalized. A heck of a thing to feel like I didn't consider, didn't think through fully about what I was doing, and so the whole world is suffering because of what I had done, and that's what it is here. And then the Lord gives a word of sorrow. He'll toil. He will have worrisome labor when he goes to till the ground, so that he can eat, so he can consume and be influenced by. And he says, all, that word all, is the whole or every, day, the whole of your days, and every day. That 24-hour period from sunset to sunset, how many ever number that you have until the day you return or give up life. All of those days is what the Lord is saying. He has to eat this way. And then the last word, life, that time that you are alive, that you are is ruined and damaged because of you. By means of painful, exhausting labor, you will eat continually this way, from the ground, till you die. And it's a heavy pronouncement, it's a heavy promise that the Lord put upon Adam and Eve, but he did so because he loved them, not to crush them of existence. He could have done it with a snap of his finger, but that's not love them. So he disciplined them, like most of the time we do. We don't like the discipline, Matter of fact, would be to take it, but love us. They would do better. They want us to be better, and so they discipline us, or they let us know you are loved, and they do see a better future for you. Verse 18. It says, thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth, the earth shall bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. Thorns. And this was different. I didn't know the difference between thorns and thistles. I thought they were all the same thing. But it describes a thorn as a stiff, sharp-pointed, straight or curved woody projection from the stem or leaf of a plant, a spike, a barb, or a spine. But it goes to describe the thistle as just like thorns, but with violet or purple flowers. And I didn't know that thorns didn't have flowers. And I didn't know that the only distinction from a thistle from a thorn was the fact that it had a flower. So this was the in Scripture. I'm not sorry, not Bible, but dictionary that you will get into today will give you the differences between thorns and thistles. Thorns, they all have the sharp points and everything else, but no flowers. Thistles have everything that a thorn has, but it has flowers. And so the Lord is saying, thorns and thistles shall the earth bring forth to you, and of the herb of the ground you shall eat. And the herb basically means plants. And of the field, it's basically the ground, the land, and the soil. is what we're talking about. And when we rephrase verse 18, it reads like, there are things that will cut you, poke you, and possibly tear your skin as you till the soil. You will now eat from the plants of the ground, not the same things that I have made for you in the garden. But this will be brought about by your own hands and your own hard work. This is to let you know, and your wife, that you are not like God, but now you do know the difference between good and evil. And this is, Satan was truthful in that point, that you will know the difference between good and evil. And they found out that they really didn't want anything to do with evil. You know, they only wanted the good now, but they had already transgressed. And so this was their lot. God made them the promise that what would happen to the woman in childbirth, and not only for her at that point, but for all women to follow her. And for Adam, that, you know, he would sweat, he would have grievous, worrisome work in order to bring about food for him and his family to eat. And it was not only for him, but for every man to follow him. He's going to provide for a family. He's going to have to go through these things. Again, the Lord said it was for your sake, on account of you, these things. Wow. Again, just to consider all of those things that would happen, you know, because I have now disobeyed. Now, I'm going to do verse 19, and I'm going to have Mark come in, and he's going to do a little bit of a recap, and then we're going to go on to the last verse, verse 20. Verse 19 reads, in the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return into the ground. Out of it wast thou taken. From dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return. Eat bread. Again, that is his food, his grain, his sustenance, to what provides for him. These are by the sweat of his face. You know, we there's no need for breaking down. We understand what sweating by your face or on your face, from your face, actually means. So there's nothing that we don't understand there. And until, as far as, or to the time of, is what that word is saying. And return. And this is where it really sinks in what the Lord was telling Adam and Eve at this point. To return, to turn back, to come again, to lie down, to cease. He is telling them, when I told you that you would surely die if you ate of this fruit, I didn't tell you that you would die immediately. All I told you is that you would surely die. And Eve mistakenly put in that we shouldn't even touch it. Well, Satan used that in his conversation with her. See, and he brought it to her, and she touched it, and she didn't die. But she thought, what she reasoned is that it would die immediately. And that was not the case, because the Lord never told her not to touch it. He told her, don't eat it. He said, in the day thereof, thou shalt surely die. And he didn't mean immediately die, but you will eventually die. And that's what he was telling her. And that's what fooled her, beguiled her. Because she thought that since she didn't die then, she would indeed live out the other part of the lie to be as gods. But she did know good and evil. That phrase, out of it you were taken. Basically that says that you are a part of it, you are from it. You know, so whatever we think about how we are made or how we are put together, here the Lord is saying that you are part of the ground. You are part of the dirt. You are of it. And he's saying that you will return, the dust you are, rather. It says you are earth. You are dirt. And you will return, the last word of return, which was a real heart sinker for me, because Adam was now understanding completely the things that he had done and what he had actually gone through and performed at the notion or the tricking of Satan. This last word, return, is defined as you will withdraw. You will arrive at the, understand the starting point is home again. Back to the earth. And so, for the first, Adam is realizing he is really going to die. Eve is also hearing this and understanding that they both will die. They will return to, they will go back, revert back to what they were, which was the earth, the ground. To recap 19 again, he says, you will work hard to eat the bread of your hands till you again become dirt. That is what you were made from. That is where you will return. This is what the earth said to them. It's just, and this one is, as I was reading it, affected, we all, because of what Adam did, will die. Now, we weren't created to die. The Lord made Adam and Eve perfect. They were intended to live forever. But because of sin brought in death. The first thing to die, the leaves, the different plants, flowers, animals, were all because of sin. And so here, the Lord is telling Adam, and I'm imagining that the Lord is telling Adam this with tears in his eyes. Because he loved Adam and he loved Eve. He loved them both as dear children. But because they disobeyed, this was their punishment. This was the lesson that they had to learn, and that they had to overcome to become better in the remaining days of the life that they had. Now, I'm gonna pull upon Mark to give us a little insight on verses 15 through 19, and then I will close out with verse 20. So as Mark is making our technical adjustments, he will come and he will sit with me and speak with you.
I'm going to slide right on in here. Lisa will take over the technical portions and make whatever adjustments necessary.
All right.
You may have to scoot a little closer. Earsul, I was...
Perfect.
There you go. I was reading, because I was looking at... I think they were both cursed.
Well,
I mean, obviously God looks at Adam and says, you're cursed.
Right. The ground is cursed because of you.
And the ground is cursed because of you. I think we receive the curse. I mean, there's a curse that's going on here, and I think one of the reasons why you were having such a struggle finding the word usage with this curse, as I was going through, as I listened to everything that you said, and I tried to follow along everything that you said, but I got stuck with your stuff.
Yeah, we're all stuck in the same place, right in the mud.
So I couldn't really progress beyond that, and so what tends to happen with me, especially when I do the messages like this, or especially when I'm preparing, is that because that's where message. This was makes you stuff the set that you have. Perhaps other people, when they go through this, and they just fly through, they get stuck. Bible study, and I invite a bunch of to be it. I might even send that's okay. But several people decide part of Instagram ever want to be a part of any of the Bible studies that I start. I use the U version Bible anytime I'm in a Bible plan.
Right.
If you see and you see the plan, I usually if I don't, ask me if you have say with but I enjoy the interaction that I get from the other and one of the things that I have always idea on what it means as a vision on what I want to do, and God to do something. I'm going to go do this. Right. Through this plan, what I've been just what I see, vision actually need certain because you and I have needed to be light. The whole point is that you and I, by being consistent, other people see.
Okay.
Increasing. So vision is not about what it's about to get everyone else to see. Stuff telling you I am trying to get other people to see something. I'm making you stop here because you see something and you don't realize it. But I know you have the ability to find it, so I am not letting you go any further because everybody is watching. So this is why I got stuck here, and this is why I'm stopping here, because you got stuck on a place that I actually think bears your skill set. So